AskReddit by Spiritual Barber 651. How has a total stranger unexpectedly changed the course of your life? The doctor working in the ER I went to one day after school due to severe leg pains to the point I couldn't walk. He looked at me, said, "You have knock knee, I'm getting you crutches and a referral to Dr. Zoltz," and from there I had 5 knee surgeries between 2012 and 2019. The bones in my legs are straighter than I am, though I'm still in pain most days. However, if I hadn't gotten the surgeries, I would have been in a wheelchair by now. I might not be as flexible or do as much physical activity as I used to, but I'm still able to be up and walk about on my own with no assistance. So the doctor from the ER is your personal hero. I hope you have a full recovery one day. When I was 22 I was very depressed working as a prep cook making minimum wage and living with my mom. I'm a high school dropout so I had no direction at the time. I started this new job and the chef was a guy not much older, maybe mid-30s. This guy took me under his wing and mentored me. He didn't flat out say that's what he was doing at first. Over the course of a few months I went from prep to line cook. After a year or so, one night after work he takes me out for a drink. He tells me he wants me to be his sous chef and that he wants to help me get out of my mom's house and get my life started. I cried lol. I grew up so poor I never expected to have a good job. That promotion changed my life. There are always nice people out there who are willing to help. We just sometimes are not be able to see them. I hope you have a long and a successful career. The policemen and mental health workers that got me admitted to the psych ward, which allowed me to get a bipolar diagnosis and then medications which have changed my entire life for the better. Good for you, my dude. Enjoy your life. I saw a stranger odd in front of me, changed my life, got clean, been sober for close to 5 years now, got a job and a small apartment, doing better. It's also changed my life in the form of trauma, but I think I've got past it as much as someone can. Since then I know of 4 friends from my drug addiction days that have passed from odds. That's so sad, but in this way you have grown into a very mentally strong person. I am very glad that you have found your way through the darkness and I am very sorry for your friends. I hope they rest in peace finally somewhere better. In high school I had 0 ideas of what to do with my life. No real passions, no useful hobbies, nada. At the beginning of junior year, a guest speaker came into one of my classes and talked about civil engineering. He had made a chair out of toothpicks to demonstrate how trusses distribute weight. I thought it was neat and based my entire college education and ensuing career off of that man and his toothpick chair. Thanks, Joe K, you're my savior. At a networking event, I struck up a conversation with a stranger who turned out to be a mentor in disguise. Their wisdom, guidance, and belief in my potential propelled me forward in my career, helping me achieve goals I never thought possible. That moment changed the whole course of my career and life. Talk to strangers more often and be curious. I agree with you. Life is a journey and you must meet new people and get into new adventures in order to be fulfilled. When I was around 18, I was working the counter at an auto parts store. This old man came in for a part, shot the breeze with me for a second, then went on his way. Just before he got to the door I said, "You have a good day." He turned around and casually replied, "Every day is a good day, kid. Some are just better than others." I'm sure that old man is long gone, but I kept those words very close to me for over 20 years now. Not exactly a total stranger, it was a woman at the gym I, 66F, went to, back in 1998. She and I generally exchanged pleasantries, etc., but nothing more. My ex and I had just gotten back from living overseas for his job for 9 years. We had 3 young children, and he was pressuring me to get a job. I decided to go to paralegal school, but he and I argued about which one I should go to. He wanted me to go to the more prestigious one, which had a difficult schedule for me, while I wanted to go to the one closer to us, which had a more convenient schedule. Anyway, I must have looked distressed as we were waiting for the class to begin. BC she asked me if I was okay. I told her what I was anxious about, and told me do what's right for you. I chose a school that was more convenient for me, got an internship at the local prosecutor's office, and became the director of victim services some years later. Do what's right for you was a novel concept for me at the time. Thank you, kind stranger. I took a transfer at work, and was staying with a cousin near my new work location. One night after work and softball practice, I came back to her house, and as I was getting some stuff out of the trunk of my car, someone jumped me and slit my throat. Turns out she had kicked her alcoholic, drug-addled, violent asshole boyfriend out a week before I came to stay with her. He had been stalking her and assumed I was the new boyfriend and tried to murder me. It ended up costing me a fortune in medical and legal bills, wiped out my savings, and I've been a little paranoid ever since. I'm so unbelievably sorry this happened to you. I hope there's an end to this tunnel and things can be good again. I was 25. It happened 3 years ago. I get sent on a work trip to Tampa, Florida, and was paired with this individual who was in charge of the market and running the event. At that time I had a very negative and pessimistic outlook on life. I was not in a good headspace, and my market that I'd came from was incredibly difficult and toxic to work in. My partner was someone who enjoyed life to its fullest, saw the beauty in everything, and had a genuinely positive and amazing outlook on life. His attitude and outlook on life was infectious. By day 2 of being paired with this guy, I was heavily questioning myself and why I look at life the way I do. At the end of it, his personality changed my life forever. I think about it daily and always try to find the positive in everything. Life goes on and enjoy every second of it. Even when life is hard, I still take time to reflect and try to find the good. The man who interviewed me for a job that I wasn't a perfect fit for but told me I was undervalued and underpaid in the job I was in, said he saw I was enthusiastic and willing to learn, so took a chance on me. A complete stranger gave our daughter up for adoption and chose us to be her parents. Nothing else has come close to that level of impact. When I was 16, I was at the park and this homeless guy came up to me and said it's okay to be not okay, just don't listen to the demons. I was going to kill myself that day. Homeless people sometimes have the most experience of all among us, considering the conditions they live in. I am glad that you learned how to appreciate the gift of life and have this conversation with us at this moment. Never forget that. When I complimented her on her shirt and tattoos, it started 5 hours of conversation. That has now turned into almost 22 years of conversation. She changed the course of my life because at the time I was going through extreme depression and not even sure if I wanted to still be alive. I met a girl at a bar. She looked a lot like a girl that I was having a hard time getting over. We chatted for about an hour and she was kind and compassionate. Talking to her gave me the closure that I never received. She was only in town for one night. I told her that I didn't want her to leave, but that I felt like there was a lesson that I was supposed to learn by not holding on to her. I actually ended the night telling her that I loved her, not romantically, but because of the warmth and kindness that she showed me when I needed it. I didn't ask for her number. I didn't ask to take her home. I just thanked her for her kindness. I hope she's doing well. I was 19 dealing with a divorce because my husband at that time cheated on me and got another woman pregnant, and I ended up becoming homeless while this stranger that I've never met before approached me and taught me ways to survive while on the street. And while I was doing perfectly fine after this person taught me, 7 months later came back and helped me financially and physically to become the successful person that I was meant to be. Slept with my fiancé. Is there a story behind? When the stranger wired me $100 billion into my checking account. Can I meet this stranger? That one stranger in the market who handled a pandolin back in Wuhan in 2019. Yeah, you changed my life. That stranger became part of my life. Have had so many life-changing experiences with random people. I treat everyone good, smile at everyone. You never know how your next random interaction will change you and their lives. In 2014, a guy abandoned his car on the side of the road in a tight canyon in southern Utah. My mom was in the passenger seat with some friends driving through at night time and hit the abandoned car on the side of the road, killing her instantly. There was no time to react or swerve out of the way due to the darkness and sharp corners. I was 13 years old at the time, living with my aunt and uncle due to my mom's health problems. I never met the person responsible for this, but it still miss my mom every day. Met her on Reddit and helped me during a tough time. I understand some people went broke during COVID in Austin, but if you go to a Tex-Mex restaurant called La Palapa on the corner of 290 and Amp, Cameron Road, there's a graffiti note of moral written on the dumpster structure which reads, "Moral judgment, they would rather have human feces and dirty syringes than a clean homeless American trying to survive." I think the Tiger Mart started locking the structure where he was living because couple of druggies were shooting up and crapping there. I was hauling ass in a dump truck as somebody important, perhaps a sitting president or high-ranking official, was flown over me. I watched as uniformed officers took corners, and one looked me in the eye as he was about to turn and allowed me to pass. I got to my destination and watched as two Black Hawks, or perhaps Marine One, flew over. I was within a certain distance of whoever that was.